guys, so we are going to get into breakfast. I just have to first start off and say that I'm filming breakfast in the morning because I filmed the dinner at night because that's when I did my little prep, and I am so upset with myself because I forgot to turn on my mic. So the rest of the video will be filmed with a voiceover because I did not turn my mic on, so my camera also did not catch any sound. Like, I can't even believe how much of an idiot I am. I was so hyped about getting this mic for like clearer sound just for me to forget to turn it on, so I did not use it. But I digress. Alright guys, so let's get into breakfast. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn on our stove. I like to cook my eggs at a medium, in between medium and in between 6. And if you know, then you know I'm going to use my Smart Balance buttery spread to cook. So today we are going to do eggs with spinach, and I like to use about this much of my Smart Balance buttery spread. I'm just going to put that in my bowl, or my skillet. Yeah. So when I do my eggs with spinach, I like to cook my spinach first before I actually add on my eggs. And we are going to be using organic baby spinach. If you do have an Aldi's that is near you, I would strongly suggest that you go to Aldi's. That organic baby spinach costs me $1.89. So if you have any, if you've ever bought organic, you know organic is always way more expensive than non-organic food items. And Aldi's is making it cheap and readily accessible for you. So what we're gonna do, I take a handful of spinach, and we're just going to throw our spinach all around. We're going to cook it down until it gets wilty. I don't know if that's a word, but that's what I'm using today. Okay, so now while our spinach cooks over here, we're going to go ahead and get our eggs prepped to go into the bowls. Okay, so as you can see, I have my eggs here. I'm not the best egg cracker, so please bear with me. So I'm just gonna open this up. And I don't have like a preference between brown or white eggs. These are the ones that I bought. So we're gonna crack this one. I'm horrible at cracking eggs. This one. Oh my god, I just almost dropped on the floor. 2. I'm doing 3 eggs today. We're gonna get in that max protein. And 3. And now I like to add a little bit of salt and pepper. That's the only thing that we're going to end up adding. So I have my salt. Or sorry, I have my pepper. And some salt. Don't OD with your salt. You don't want salty eggs. There we go. Okay, so now our spinach is cooking down. You can use your spatula just to move it around. Remember, we're going to cook our spinach until it wilts. I'm not going to season the spinach because you probably won't even be able to taste the spinach. You'll just taste the eggs, so I don't season my spinach. And I am just going to take my eggs. I'm going to beat them before they go in. Alright, and now I feel like my spinach is wilted good enough, so I'm going to pour my eggs. And you can add your own recipes or your own ingredients in here. You don't have to just use spinach. Sometimes I'll chop up some bell pepper and put it in there as well, so you don't have to just use spinach. I don't know how you guys like your eggs cooked, but for me, since I already have a hard time keeping eggs down, I don't know what it is. I don't think it's a texture thing because I can eat like sushi. I'll eat pretty much anything. I'm pretty adventurous when it comes to eating. But when it comes to eggs, I think it's like the smell. I just can't keep it down. So I have to add something into my eggs to make it edible. And they have to be cooked pretty well. It's weird because when my grandma would cook me sunny side up eggs, I could eat those. Like, they were actually still my favorite. And I actually love Eggs Benedict. So basically I'm contradicting myself. Yay. And again, because I know someone's gonna watch this video and be like, oh, she's cooking her eggs too long. This is how I prefer my eggs. I want to keep them down. This is how they gotta be cooked. Okay, so those feel like they're done to me. So what I'm gonna do is turn off my stove, our eggs, and if you're like me, I have to have a little bit of ketchup on the side. I don't know why. Ever since I was a kid, I had to have a little bit of ketchup or like syrup on my eggs. I can't eat them plain. I will throw up. So here's our breakfast. 1 handful of spinach, 3 eggs. This is what you get. I hope you guys enjoy this part. And now we're gonna go into our meal prep for the week, which is our lunch and dinner. And unfortunately, it's not gonna be an ASMR vibe. It's definitely gonna be a voiceover, but let's get into it. Okay guys, so my shrimp has been cleaned, deveined, and the first seasoning we're gonna use is Old Bay seasoning. Now this, what I really like about it is that it's not salty, so you can go as heavy as you want. I don't try to go super duper heavy because I don't want to over season the food. Less is more in my mind, but this is the first one that we're gonna go ahead and use. And I do wash, devein, and clean my shrimp before I start seasoning it. Okay, and next up we are going to use our black pepper as our seasoning. Black pepper, I don't think it really adds too much of a flavor, but I don't know, you grew up in a black household, you have to add black pepper, and you can go as heavy as you want with the black pepper because like I said, I don't really feel like it adds much of a taste to the food, so I go heavy with my black pepper. Now we are going to use some salt, which I use my pink Himalayan salt. I don't play around with salt because high blood pressure does run in my family, so I don't use heavy salt. Like, that's just not my thing. Plus, the other seasonings I'm going to use will add some sort of sodium anyway. Now, the next seasoning that we're going to use is our granulated onion powder. This I got from Sam's Club, and it's lasted me a very long time. I do go like kind of mid-heavy with this seasoning, and if you don't have a Sam's Club membership, what I've learned is that if you do like Instacart and they have Sam's Club on there, you don't have to have a membership to purchase from Sam's Club. So I would strongly suggest grabbing this seasoning if you do use the granulated onion powder. And you better bet your bottom dollar that I have a big ass garlic seasoning as well. And honestly guys, when it comes to seasoning with garlic powder and onion powder, I just go until I hear my ancestors say, bitch, that is enough. You need to stop. Okay guys, so now what I do is I flip over all of my shrimp. I know it may seem like a very tedious task, but I do flip them all the way over so I can season the other side. I don't go as heavy, I feel, with the other side of the shrimp. So we are going to use all of our seasonings all over again. You can do this any way you want to. I'm just showing you guys how I season my food for my prep and exactly the way I'm doing my my prep for the rest of the week. So I do flip them all over and we're going to re-season using the exact same seasoning. So I'm going to fast forward through this part. So to start off, we are going to use Smart Balance, our buttery spread. Yes, we are using this again, do not hate. And then we're also going to add in extra virgin olive oil. I do use organic. I don't know if there's really much of a difference, but my grandma uses organic, so guess who's using organic? Me, some copycat. And we're also going to add in some minced garlic. I'm not going to chop up garlic. It's late at night at this point, and I don't have time for all that. So we're going to use some minced garlic that I bought from the store. Okay, so to start, I take like a nice little knife scoop of the buttery spread, or our butter. I'm just going to call it butter. And then I also add in the olive oil. So guys, I was really holding this olive oil to the mic to give you guys a really, really nice ASMR moment. I'm so mad. Anyways, so it has like this a nice little top for like the spout, so that it doesn't like just pour out tons of olive oil, which that's the one thing that I really just dislike about certain oil bottles, that it just pours out tons of oil, which I don't really be needing. And the reason why I like to watch how much olive oil I use is because I've had too much oil previously and it gives me a really bad stomach ache. I'm pretty sure that's with like any oil. So just be careful of how much oil and butter you're adding. Now, because we are cooking shrimp, you can go a little bit heavier, and I did add more butter and olive oil as I was cooking because it wasn't enough. You know, the shrimp, it's pretty like, shrimp, I think it like pushes out water, and so, you know, it kind of soaks it up really fast, so you kind of have to add a little bit more than what I added here, and you'll see in the video I go back and I add more in. Okay, so now that our oily, buttery spread has sizzled up or cooked, we're gonna add in our garlic, our minced garlic. I like to cook down minced garlic just a little bit before I actually add in my shrimp. I only do this with like fish, or shrimp if I'm cooking on like the stove top. I'll add in the minced garlic. I don't like to do it with chicken because I don't know, it like gets like caught in the chicken. It's really not a good look. So we're just gonna put this all over the pot, and we're just gonna wait for it to like cook down a little bit, and then we'll add in our shrimp. And like I told you guys previously, I went back in, I added more olive oil because I could tell this would not be enough oil for how much shrimp I was about to cook. So I did go back in and add some more oil. So now when you start to see your oil sizzling, which I'm cooking on about a medium, in between like medium and a level 6. So like a medium going up towards like a higher temperature. I'm cooking at that temperature, and I'm not going to add all of my shrimp because it's not enough space in my skillet. I'm only adding a couple of pieces. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if you do not want rubbery ass shrimp, I'm telling you, cook your shrimp for about 7 minutes. Cook it on one side, cook it on the other side, and then take your shrimp out of the damn skillet. Y'all are gonna have some rubbery ass shrimp if you try and cook your shrimp for 11 minutes, 11 to 15 minutes. Trust me, shrimp does not take a long time to cook. Just like any other fish, you really don't need to leave it on the stove top for that long. Let's see a big sis Mo, or else y'all gonna be chewing for days, okay? Okay, so now I go through and I like to try to flip them like individually if there's enough space, like if I didn't crowd the skillet with like tons of shrimp. So I like to go through and try to flip them individually. As you can see, they're getting like that nice, you know, sear on the backside. I'm sorry guys, I got really hungry and I started eating the shrimp after I cooked that batch. But another way to tell if your shrimp is done, obviously the shrimp is starting off white when you put it into your skillet. A way to tell it's done, or you know, cooking properly, is they'll start to shrivel up, or you'll start to see that uncooked look. It'll start to turn more of like a cooked color. Some of them turn pink depending on what brand and type of shrimp you buy. They might change color. And this is where I also had the issue, is that I knew I didn't add enough oil and butter. So I probably went back and added some more oil and butter for the next batch that was coming up, because these were about to be done. Okay guys, so I did add more of my olive oil to my skillet, and now I'm adding in the other half of my shrimp. And it was at this time that I realized that my camera had went out of focus for my first batch. Wow, how ghetto of my camera. So I made sure to get the focus with this one so you guys can actually see how it looks while the shrimp is cooking down. I don't know about anybody else who has a camera, but it's so annoying when that happens because you're looking from a certain like angle, and my ring light and my camera was above my head while I was cooking, so I really couldn't tell that it had went out of focus. Wow, this video just had tons of surprises. Anyways, so I added in every piece of shrimp at this point because, as I said, it was late at night. I did not prioritize properly with this meal prep. So at this point, I said, fuck it. We're adding in every piece of shrimp that we possibly can, and we're going to cook from here. So I did also add more butter. This is a little bit more of like a, you know, kind of your opinion of how fast it's cooking. So when you have this much shrimp in the skillet, I would watch like each individual piece because some pieces are not going to cook as fast as the others because they're probably not on the fire or like the hot spots like some of the other pieces. So that's why you'll see me like move them around. And instead of flipping them individually with the spatula, I'm going to flip them like all at once and just try to get like every piece cooked. So these ones, when you add in so many pieces at once, you have to kind of watch it and just kind of pick the ones that you think are like cooking faster. So now our second batch of our shrimp is officially done. So that I'm going to add to the first batch, which if you want details on where I got my glass bowls, the one that I'm adding my shrimp to, I got these from Sam's Club. And the other prep bowls that you'll see in the second half of my video, or the second portion of my video, those ones I got from Amazon, which I will have linked in the description of this video so you can purchase. And all we're going to do for now is we're just going to put our shrimp over to the side, and we're going to move on to our next half of our prep, which is our salmon. So let's hop on over to it. Okay guys, so now what you need for our salmon, or what we need for our salmon, is a baking tin. I also am going to coat this with tin foil on top, which we're just going to do like a rough measure of how much tin foil we're going to need. And I am going to cook about 7 pieces of salmon. So I try to measure it or align them on my baking tin, so I only need to use 1 tin or 1 strip of foil because I really don't want to have to use 2. And you guys should already know by now we're going to use our handy dandy organic olive oil to coat our salmon. I like to put it on top of the salmon. I feel like it adds like, makes it a little bit more juicy, a little more flavorful when you're cooking it. So what I do is I will drizzle it on top of each piece. And then what I do is I'll roll the salmon with my hand. So I'm coating the bottom side of the salmon and the top side of the salmon. I know some of you guys don't like to eat your salmon with the skin on. What I would suggest, I leave my skin on because it's going to come off anyway. So what I would suggest is, if you don't like to eat your salmon with the skin, cook your salmon with the skin on the salmon. And then once it's done cooking, majority of the time, your salmon is going to roll right off that skin anyway. So trying to take off the skin off of your salmon before it's cooked it's really hard. So I would 100% suggest taking the skin off after your salmon is done being cooked. And then if you feel like you use too much olive oil for coating your salmon, just simply go ahead and dab it down with like a paper towel to remove any excess olive oil that you might have. Now, it's not really too much that's different from my shrimp seasoning compared to what I'm about to season my salmon with, so I'm not going to make you guys sit through that. The only thing that I didn't use salt, I didn't use Old Bay seasoning, and the only other thing that I did add in, so I did use garlic powder, onion powder, black pepper, and the only other seasoning that I did add as well is Badia Italian seasoning, and it's a Mediterranean blend. So that's the only other seasoning that I am going to use, so I'm not going to make you guys sit through it. I'll just slow it down once I get to the Badia seasoning so you guys can actually see what it looks like if you would like to purchase. And this is the Badia Italian seasoning Mediterranean blend. It truly does add a really tasty like Italian blend to your salmon or whatever you want to season or use the seasoning for. So I would recommend purchasing it, and it also doesn't have like a salty taste to it. So if you want to go heavy, you can. It's not going to add like a ton of like a salt taste to your food. Now I am going to go ahead, once I'm done seasoning, I'm going to go ahead and put my salmon into my oven. I preheat for 380, and I leave my salmon in there for about 15 minutes or until I believe it looks cooked, which usually your salmon will turn like a pinkish, like white color when you know it's like done cooking. But I say like a max of like 15 minutes on 380, and my salmon is usually perfect at that point. Now I'm sure at some point someone told you you do not need carbs, but you do. So today I'm going to show you how to make some rice. I'm using jasmine rice from Riceland is the brand. I'm going to add 1 cup of rice to my rice cooker. Yes, I do use a rice cooker. I don't care how you make your rice. I'm using a rice cooker because it's the easiest way for me to make my rice without... I've never actually burned rice. I was going to say without burning it, but I've never burned rice in my life. So you can call me perfect. Now I'm going to add in 1 cup of water, and then I'm going to add another cup of water. So when I cook my rice, I do 2 cups of water, and then I'm telling you, if you want just the most perfect rice, you're also going to add our handy dandy organic olive oil. So we're also going to add in some Smart Balance butter, and then we're going to go ahead and push down for our rice. And what I love about a rice cooker is that you're going to hear it pop up when it's done or when it's supposed to be done. So you can just walk away. You don't have to touch it. We're going to leave it right there. And I tell you, we're going to get the most perfect rice. Okay, guys, our meal prep is officially finished. The only thing I didn't video was me cooking the spinach. But you did see how I cooked my spinach as far as when I cooked my eggs. But the only difference is that I use olive oil instead of butter when I'm cooking my spinach for my meal prep. I did put some shrimp on top of my salmon just so I can have a little bit more protein per meal. And then here's what we have left over for our prep for the next couple of days. I like to cook like every 2 to 3 days, so I don't prep like everyone else where they're prepping like, 7 bowls of food for the week, 2 per day. I like to cook every couple of days just to have the most fresh kind of food, or most fresh food that I could possibly have. So this is it, guys. We have our salmon, our shrimp, we have rice, and then also our vegetable, which is spinach. So if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, comment, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.